Ladies and gentlemen, the political landscape is shifting beneath our feet, and nowhere is this more evident than North Carolina. We got breaking news that's sending shockwaves through the Democrat establishment. Trump isn't just winning in the Tar Heel state, he's dominating, but that's not all. We've got an exclusive scoop on his latest move that's got everyone from The Rock to the Republican elite talking. So buckle up, folks. This is going to be a wild ride. Now, before we dive deeper, let's talk about something that's revolutionizing pain relief. If you're dealing with daily aches and pains, listen up. Medical scientist Clint Winters has unveiled Conolidine, a 100% drug-free pain reliever that's taking the world by storm. It optimizes your body's natural painkillers at any age. Now, I was skeptical, but it works. My back, neck, joints, they all feel great. And the best part, no side effects. Click the link below to check out Clint's report and access Conolidine for less than $1 a day. But hurry, the offer ends at midnight. The website is linked below, trycono.com/NNN. Make sure you visit it. Okay, special thanks to our sponsors who make this show possible, and special thanks to you for donating at the links in the description to keep this show running as well. Donald Trump in North Carolina. This is what he had to say about Kamala Harris at the rally today.
We're running against the most radical, most incompetent, most unfit vice president in the history of our country. No one respects her. No one trusts her. No one takes her seriously. Something is clearly wrong with her. She can't put two sentences together. She's an international joke, and she is going to end up getting us into a third world war. This person cannot be president when the people of North Carolina were stranded and drowning in Hurricane Helene. Kamala Harris was at a glitzy fundraiser in a city that she destroyed, San Francisco. She spent the last 4 years taking your money to provide shelter and benefits to illegal aliens. But when North Carolina needed help, Kamala Harris was nowhere to be found. And it took her a long time to get here, too. And she only came here because she's running for office. I was here the day after. I didn't want to go in. I didn't want to disturb them, but I was in North Carolina. Kamala Harris does not have the compassion, the smarts, or the strength to be the president of the United States. She just can't do the job. You know it. Everybody knows it. Her people know it. The people that work for her know it. Almost 95% of the people that work for her as vice president quit. They were always quitting because she was a nut job. And on top of it all, she says she would not do one thing differently from Joe Biden, which is totally disqualifying immediately.
That's true. Stories about inside her office, people quitting because she's a tyrant. She runs her office like a tyrant. How do you think she'll run the United States? Here's more from that rally.
But in conclusion, with your vote this November, we are going to fire Kamala Harris. We're going to save America. And we're going to restore the greatness of our nation for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. With your support, we will cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and turn the United States into the manufacturing superpower of the world. It'll be very quick.
Yeah.
We will build American, we will buy American, and we will hire American.
Amen. Amen. Trump on fire. Of course, that new poll out of North Carolina shows Trump up 3 points over Kamala Harris, 48-45. That's the Redfield and Wilton Strategies poll. So Trump is polling ahead of Kamala. And remember, Trump generally polls, his poll numbers are undercounted. He underpolls. So because people are afraid to answer the questions, they don't want to go on the record because of the cancel culture and how conservatives are always targeted by the radical left. So they don't answer the phones. They don't answer the questions. They don't even take part. But that's why Trump underpolls. So if these numbers are showing +3, it's likely that it's even higher by, 1 or 2 points. So this is really big news. Donald Trump also in North Carolina, surveying some of the recovery efforts after the hurricane. And listen to this. This is where he's talking about people were questioning about what would happen with their ballots and how they would vote. And here's what Trump said. But he said the deadline's today.
I don't have to. If you had to relocate because of the storm, you do not have to return to your home county. You can request a ballot for your temporary housing location, but you need to make sure you do it today. Today's your last day. So get out and get that done and vote. But so far, you've really been, I don't have to talk to anybody, they're literally setting records with this kind of devastation. I think it's an amazing tribute. That's an amazing tribute that something like that could happen. So to everyone here in North Carolina, we love you. Together we'll pull it through. We bless you, and God bless you, and God bless America. We're gonna make our nation stronger and better, more beautiful, and a more joyful, to use a phrase from somebody else that doesn't really believe it. But we're going to make it a more joyful place. We're going to do things that nobody thought were possible. We're going to have our country back. We're going to grab our country. We're going to take it back. We're a nation in decline. We're not going to be a nation in decline for much longer, that I can tell you. And we're going to make America great again. Very simple. It's a very simple slogan. It's the greatest movement in the history of our country. We're going to make America great again. If you had to relocate because of...
So make sure you follow the instructions. You don't have to return to your home county. You can request a ballot for your temporary housing location. Kamala, of course, on the campaign trail, campaigning with the very washed up and bitter war hawk Liz Cheney. Trump praying with the victims of hurricane in Asheville, North Carolina. I mean, Liz Cheney used to slam Kamala Harris all day long, and now she's on the campaign trail. It just shows you Democrats are latching on to the worst elements and the holdouts in the last vestiges of the Republican Party, the dying elite neocon branch. But here's Donald Trump being prayed for in North Carolina. Now, here's what's interesting. Lara Trump, she went on the Breakfast Club also, and here's what she had to say about the threat to democracy.
Well, he was friends with everybody. I mean, I think if you look back at Donald Trump's history, he last night we were at the Al Smith dinner, and he was right there next to Chuck Schumer, and he said to Chuck Schumer, who's obviously a Democrat senator, he said, I gave Chuck his first check ever when he was running for like assemblyman or something. So yeah,
That's why Chuck was laughing so hard. Remember we asked why Chuck was laughing so hard? Chuck was laughing, boy.
I don't be liking the optics of that. Only reason I say I don't like the optics of that is because when you hear people like Chuck Schumer say things like Trump is a threat to democracy, but then you're sitting next to him yucking it up. Why would you be yucking it up with somebody who you consider a threat to democracy?
Well, you have to ask yourself that question, don't you? Maybe it's all scare tactics. Maybe it's a lot of fear mongering. Charlemagne. What I can tell you is I know Donald Trump. I have known him for 16 years, and Chuck Schumer's known him a lot longer than I have. And I think he knows full well he's not a threat to democracy. And you don't even have to take my word for it. Look at what he did when he was in the White House. Like, there was never any threat to democracy when he was in the White House.
Well, there was an attempted coup of the country.
Well, that you can argue that a lot of different ways. Peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard is not an attempted coup. What was a coup was when they replaced Joe Biden with Kamala Harris, who was not elected by anyone to run for president. There are 14 million people who voted for Joe Biden to be the nominee for the Democrat Party. And if you want to talk about a real threat to democracy, I would argue that. Well, he was friends.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Who's a real threat to democracy? Here we go. We also have President Trump talking about what happened after that assassination attempt with Dwayne and The Rock Johnson.
Media. Your social media is very big, right?
I guess. I'm not.
You're not into it.
Is my social media?
It's pretty big. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Who's the biggest on social media?
The Rock.
Oh, The Rock is.
Yeah.
So he is with the WWE superstar, the Undertaker here.
Yeah, Dwayne Johnson.
He was great. I never thought he liked me, and I felt badly because I think he's a terrific guy. And then Dana White said when I was shot, took a shot to the ear. You may have heard about it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about it. I heard some rumblings about this. Yes.
Rock called Dana and said, I want to have his number. I want to have his number. What he did is sort of incredible. He considered it bravery. I don't know. To me, I considered it like, what's going on here? But it was very nice, actually, The Rock. So you might mention that I said that. Do you speak to him?
Occasionally. I saw him. I saw him in April.
So The Rock gave Trump a phone call after that assassination attempt. Here's more from President Trump at that rally in North Carolina.
I've just come from western North Carolina, where I witnessed the terrible devastation of Hurricane Helene. Boy, that is some devastation. You look at nature. It's called nature. They have houses. They're beautiful, big, strong, powerful houses. And they just wiped out. They're gone. The footings are gone. The foundations, everything's gone. It's unbelievable when you look at it. To every family who has lost a loved one or a home, our hearts are with you, and we are praying for you, and we will come back, and we will be here on January 20th, and we will do a great job of rebuilding this home. And when I'm president, North Carolina will get the support you need and deserve, and that is without question, because you didn't get the proper support from this administration. They spent their money on illegal migrants. They spent their money. They didn't have any money left for North Carolina. That's not the way it's supposed to work. Or other places, by the way. Plenty of other places.
But of course, the left would like to call that misinformation, right? Here is more from that rally.
The fate of our every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands. North Carolina, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala Harris that you've had enough. You can't take it anymore. She's the worst vice president in history. It's the worst administration in the history of our country. They make Jimmy Carter look like he was a great president. He is a very happy man. Kamala, you're the absolute epitome of, I won't say it. Kamala, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. Get out.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Here he is, a message of hope.
All Americans. I'm here today with a message of hope for all Americans. With your vote in this election, I will end inflation, I will stop the invasion, and I will bring back the American dream. Our country is being crippled and destroyed by Kamala Harris. Kamala. How the hell did that ever happen? How did that ever happen? The guy had 14 million votes. I'm no fan of his, by the way. But he had 14 million votes. She had none. She was the first to lose. 22 people. She was the first out. She never made it to the great state of Iowa. Never made it. And, well, they talk about it. She is a threat to democracy. I mean, that's true. She's a threat to a lot of things, but that's the way it has to be, because we're winning by a lot. We're leading by a lot. We're leading in the polls. Every single state looks like we're doing really well.
Let's go. Leading in all the states. Here we have more on Trump from that rally.
Better, and with your support on November 5th, America will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than ever before. This election is a choice between whether we will have think of this, 4 more years. Could you stand it? It's 4 more years of incompetence and stupidity and failure and disaster, or whether we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. I think we have a real chance.
Let's go. The 4 greatest years in the history of this country.
A special place. And hello to North Carolina, a special place for me. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. That's what you are. And I'd like to begin by asking a question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? I don't think so. Not even close.
President Trump on fire in North Carolina today. We've got some more for you here. This is what's interesting. Back to that podcast. The Undertaker asks him about being a billionaire. Why are you doing this? Listen to Trump's response.
Do this.
That's true.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. I mean, you're a billionaire. Yeah. You've got a beautiful wife, very intelligent. You've got a wonderful family. You got people shooting at you. You don't have to do this.
That's true.
I mean,
I don't have to.
You don't have to do this.
Say, what am I doing? Sometimes, why am I doing this?
But you are.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think, people get in the media and everything else. They get everything so twisted. But it takes a special human being to sit on a podium, take a bullet, and get up, bleeding, with your hand raised in the air.
Yeah.
And let them know that, the moment right now is bigger than that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, what possesses you to put your life on the line when you don't have to? Yeah. You have a wonderful life and you've got a tremendous legacy.
Beyond that, I sometimes joke with the crowds because we get very big crowds. We had 107,000 in Butler. That's where the accident took place. We had 55,000 when we went back a couple of months later. We had just the other, 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. We had 107,000. We had 101,000 in California. And,
it's incredible.
3 days ago. Big crowds. And, abnormally big because no politician ever had these crowds. I don't even know what it is exactly. I can't explain it. Why am I getting, it's like, why? But I sometimes say, I don't have to be here with you. I could be in Monte Carlo and the beaches. I could have everything. I don't need this. But I'd rather be in Butler, Pennsylvania with you, And it's true, actually. Because, look, I have a lot of wealthy friends, and they go to these places, and, most of them are unhappy and all that stuff. But, I feel I have a purpose, and that's to rebuild our country. This country is doing so badly. The border, I mean, I don't know what your politics are or is, but your politics, just common sense. We have murderers pouring into our country. We have drug dealers pouring in. Just the border. There's many things wrong, but just the border. I think the border is worse than inflation. I think it's the biggest thing. To me, it's, like we're now in the middle. I don't know when this is going on, and I wish you luck with it. I know you're going to get high ratings. I used to think I was a big person, but I don't feel so big standing next to this guy. This guy is big.
Well.
But my son would feel better, although he's not quite as wide as you, I will say.
He'll grow into it.
He will be.
Yeah.
He will be someday. But I feel I have an obligation to do this. I had 4 great years. We had the best economy we've ever had as a country. We had the strongest borders we've ever had in recorded history. I guess they might have been very strong 1,000 years ago or something. But we had the strongest borders. We were hitting on all. I rebuilt the military, got the biggest tax cuts in history, got the biggest regulation cuts in history. Really doing great. And then we had a crazy election where I did much better than the first time. And if I didn't have that, I probably wouldn't have done this.
So there you have it. Trump is not just winning North Carolina. He is rewriting the political playbook. From his surge in the polls to his surprise podcast revelations. He's keeping everyone on their toes. But here's what I want to hear from you. Is this the beginning of the red wave that could sweep the nation? And what do you make of Trump's more personal revelations, like The Rock calling him after an assassination attempt? Share your thoughts below. Is Trump's unconventional approach the key to his success? I want to hear from you.